Pulpo is the Spanish word for what type of seafood? Octopus. Pulpo is the Spanish term for octopus, a marine mollusk widely consumed as seafood, especially in Mediterranean and Asian cuisines. This type of question tests general knowledge and cultural vocabulary. In Greek mythology, the hero Odysseus is king of which island? Ithaca. Odysseus, the legendary Greek king of Ithaca, is a central figure in Homer's epic poem, The Odyssey. His arduous 10-year journey to return home after the Trojan War is a foundational narrative in Western literature and mythology. On which river in Germany does the city of Heidelberg stand? The Neckar River. Heidelberg, a renowned German university city, is situated on the Neckar River in southwestern Germany. The Neckar is a major tributary of the Rhine, and its scenic valley is famous for its castles and vineyards. Who served as the First Lady of the United States from 1933 to 1945? Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt was a prominent American diplomat, activist, and political figure who served as First Lady during President Franklin D. Roosevelt's 4 terms. She was a strong advocate for civil rights, women's rights, and social justice, playing a significant role in shaping the New Deal policies and later in the formation of the United Nations. What do men hold while performing an ancient animal dance each September at Abbots Bromley in Staffordshire? Antlers. The Abbots Bromley horn dance is an ancient folk custom performed annually in Staffordshire, England. Participants carry deer antlers, believed to be over 1,000 years old, in a procession through the village and surrounding estates. It is one of the oldest surviving rituals in England, dating back to pre-Christian times, and is a significant example of traditional British folklore. Which Mediterranean herb is also commonly known as wild marjoram? Oregano. Oregano, scientifically known as Origanum vulgar, is a popular culinary herb from the mint family, Lamiaceae. It is native to the Mediterranean region and is widely used in Italian, Greek, and Mexican cuisines. Known for its strong aromatic and warm flavor, oregano is also recognized for its medicinal properties, including antioxidant and antimicrobial effects. What was officially adopted as the national motto of the United States in 1956? In God We Trust. In God We Trust was designated as the official motto of the United States by an act of Congress in 1956. This decision came during the Cold War era, partly to distinguish the US from the Soviet Union's state atheism. The phrase first appeared on US coins during the Civil War in 1864 and has been featured on all US currency since 1957. Which flatfish, scientifically known as Pleuronectes platesa, is readily identifiable by the reddish or orange spots on its upper side? Plaice. Plaice, Pleuronectes platesa, is a commercially important flatfish found in the North Atlantic and Baltic Seas. It is characterized by its distinctive orange or reddish spots, which help distinguish it from other flatfish species. Like other flatfish, plaice has both eyes on one side of its head, allowing it to lie camouflaged on the seabed. On which river is the city of Lisbon situated, just before its estuary flows into the Atlantic Ocean? Tagus River. Lisbon, the capital city of Portugal, is strategically located on the estuary of the Tagus River, Rio Tejo. The Tagus is the longest river in the Iberian Peninsula, flowing approximately 1,007 kilometers, 626 miles, from its source in Spain through Portugal before emptying into the Atlantic. Its estuary at Lisbon forms a natural harbor, historically crucial for trade and exploration. What is the term for the thin leather straps used in falconry to tether the bird? Jesses. In falconry, jesses are short straps traditionally made of leather that are attached to a raptor's legs. These straps are used for handling the bird and attaching it to a leash or swivel, preventing it from flying away while ensuring its safety and control. Jesses are an essential piece of equipment for falconers, reflecting the ancient art of training and hunting with birds of prey. Which revolutionary leader was the subject of an iconic photograph taken by Alberto Corder in 1960? Che Guevara. Alberto Corder's photograph, titled Guerrillero Heroico, is one of the most famous images of the 20th century, depicting Marxist revolutionary Che Guevara. Taken on March 5, 1960, at a memorial service in Havana, Cuba, the image became a global symbol of rebellion and counter-cultural movements. Corder's portrait captured Guevara's intense gaze and defiant expression, making it a powerful emblem of revolutionary idealism. Which German composer wrote the music for the overture, Rienzi, a piece frequently performed in concert halls? Richard Wagner. Richard Wagner, 1813–1883, was a highly influential German composer, conductor, and theatre director, primarily known for his operas, or music dramas. The overture to his early opera, Rienzi, Der letzte der Tribunen, Rienzi, The Last of the Tribunes, composed in 1840, is one of his most popular and frequently performed orchestral works, characterized by its grand and heroic style. Julia Gillard served as the Prime Minister of which country? Australia. Julia Gillard served as the 27th Prime Minister of Australia from 2010 to 2013. She holds the distinction of being the first and only woman to have held this high office in Australia. In the British and American armies, what rank is positioned between a general and a major general? Lieutenant General. In the hierarchical structure of many armed forces, including the British and American armies, the rank of Lieutenant General typically outranks a Major General but is subordinate to a full general. This rank signifies command of a large formation, often a corps. Clara Petacci was the mistress of which dictator? Mussolini. Clara Petacci was famously the mistress of Benito Mussolini, the fascist dictator who ruled Italy. Their relationship ended tragically when they were both executed by Italian partisans in April 1945, near the end of World War II. Which is the only London borough situated on both sides of the River Thames? Richmond upon Thames. The London Borough of Richmond upon Thames is unique among London's boroughs for encompassing significant land areas on both the north and south banks of the River Thames. This geographical characteristic influences its local governance and infrastructure. Which composer, at the age of 17, wrote the overture to A Midsummer Night's Dream? Mendelssohn. Felix Mendelssohn composed his celebrated overture to A Midsummer Night's Dream in 1826, demonstrating prodigious talent at just 17 years old. This work is highly regarded for its enchanting musical depiction of Shakespeare's play and is a cornerstone of the Romantic repertoire. The drug digitalis is derived from which plant? Foxglove. Digitalis, a group of cardiac glycosides including digoxin, is extracted from the foxglove plant, Digitalis purpurea. This potent medication is used to treat certain heart conditions, such as heart failure and atrial fibrillation, by strengthening heart contractions. Victor Hugo's novel Notre Dame de Paris is more commonly known by what title in the English-speaking world? The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Victor Hugo's influential historical novel, originally published in French as Notre Dame de Paris in 1831, is widely recognized in English-speaking countries by the title, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The novel is set in 15th-century Paris and explores themes of fate, prejudice, and love through its iconic characters. Which famous U.S. highway originally extended from Chicago to Los Angeles, covering approximately 2,448 miles? Route 66. U.S. Route 66, established in 1926, was one of the original highways in the U.S. highway system, famously connecting Chicago, Illinois, with Santa Monica, California. Spanning 2,448 miles, it became an iconic symbol of American culture, migration, and the pursuit of opportunity. Who was, for a time, the wife of Menelaus, king of Sparta? Helen of Troy. Helen of Troy is a central figure in Greek mythology, whose abduction by Paris sparked the Trojan War, as depicted in Homer's Iliad. She was initially married to Menelaus, the king of Sparta. What broadcasting first was achieved by Queen Elizabeth II's 2012 Christmas Day broadcast? It was the first to be shown in 3D. Queen Elizabeth II's 2012 Christmas Day broadcast was notable for being the first royal Christmas message to be broadcast in 3D. This marked a significant technological milestone in broadcasting, allowing viewers with compatible equipment to experience the message with greater depth. In which century was the mausoleum known as the Taj Mahal built? 17th century. The Taj Mahal, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, was primarily built between 1631 and 1653 under the patronage of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. It is a stunning example of Mughal architecture, commissioned as a mausoleum for his wife Mumtaz Mahal. In what academic discipline does Queen guitarist Brian May hold a PhD from Imperial College, London? Astrophysics. Brian May, famed as the guitarist for the band Queen, holds a PhD in astrophysics from Imperial College London. He completed his doctoral thesis, A Survey of Radial Velocities in the Zodiacal Dust Cloud, in 2007, demonstrating his significant contributions beyond music to the field of science. Which of his sons succeeded King Alfred the Great? Edward the Elder. Edward the Elder succeeded his father, Alfred the Great, as king of the Anglo-Saxons in 899 AD. During his reign, Edward continued his father's policies, consolidating control over Mercia and East Anglia, further strengthening the nascent Kingdom of England against Viking incursions. What rank in the British Army was abolished in 1904? Commander-in-Chief. The rank of Commander-in-Chief of the British Army was abolished in 1904 as part of significant military reforms following the Boer War. This abolition aimed to centralize control under the Army Council and the Chief of the General Staff, reflecting a shift towards more modern military administration and accountability. What astronomical phenomenon is defined by an event horizon? A black hole. An event horizon is a boundary in space-time beyond which events cannot affect an outside observer. It is typically associated with black holes, representing the point of no return from which nothing, not even light, can escape due to immense gravitational pull. What type of establishment is La Pen Agile in Paris? A bar, cabaret. Le Lapin Agile is a historic cabaret in Montmartre, Paris, known for its association with numerous famous artists and writers of the early 20th century, including Pablo Picasso and Amadeo Modigliani. It served as a significant gathering place for the Bohemian community during that era. Who was the mother of King Henry VI of England? Catherine of Valois. Catherine of Valois was the queen consort of King Henry V of England and mother of King Henry VI. A French princess, daughter of King Charles VI of France, her marriage aimed to secure the English claim to the French throne during the 100 Years' War. What is the title of George Orwell's book recounting his experiences as a soldier in the Spanish Civil War? Homage to Catalonia. Homage to Catalonia is George Orwell's personal account of his experiences as a soldier for the POUM militia during the Spanish Civil War. Published in 1938, the book offers a critical insight into the political complexities, disillusionment, and brutal realities of the conflict. Which ancient Roman road does London's Old Kent Road follow? Watling Street. Watling Street was a major Roman road in ancient Britain, running from Canterbury through London to Wroxeter. The Old Kent Road in London is one of the modern sections of this historic route, demonstrating the enduring influence of Roman infrastructure on British topography. Besides Uranus, which other planet in our solar system exhibits retrograde rotation? Venus. Retrograde rotation means a planet spins in the opposite direction to its orbit around the Sun. Venus rotates very slowly clockwise, retrograde, while most other planets, including Earth, rotate counterclockwise, prograde. Uranus also exhibits retrograde rotation due to its extreme axial tilt. Who is the patron saint of grocers and policemen? Saint Michael. Saint Michael, often referred to as Archangel Michael, is a revered figure in several Abrahamic religions. In Christian tradition, he is particularly known as a warrior angel and a protector, making him the patron saint of various professions, including policemen and grocers. The island of Rapa Nui is better known as what? Easter Island. Rapa Nui, commonly known as Easter Island, is a remote Polynesian island in the southeastern Pacific Ocean, belonging to Chile. It is world-renowned for its nearly 1,000 monumental statues called moai, created by its early Rapa Nui inhabitants, which are a significant part of global cultural heritage and archaeological study. Which country uses the International Vehicle Registration Code, ZA? South Africa. The International Vehicle Registration Code, ZA, stands for Zuid Afrika, which is Afrikaans for South Africa. These codes are part of a system for identifying the country of registration of a vehicle in international traffic, typically aligned with the Vienna Convention on Road Traffic. What is the official currency unit of Vietnam? The Vietnamese dong. The Vietnamese dong, VND, is the official currency of Vietnam, with the symbol. Understanding national currencies is fundamental for general knowledge, particularly in the fields of economics, international finance, and global geography. To which saint is Westminster Abbey dedicated? Saint Peter. Westminster Abbey is formerly known as the Collegiate Church of Saint Peter at Westminster. This historic Gothic abbey church in London is a site of profound national significance, hosting coronations, royal weddings, and the burials of monarchs and notable figures. In a stratocracy, which entity primarily exercises power? The military. A stratocracy is a form of government where the state is governed directly by military leaders, often without the separation of military and civilian roles. Unlike a military dictatorship, which is typically unconstitutional, a stratocracy's military rule might be established constitutionally or traditionally, with citizens' rights often tied to military service. Who was the second US president to be assassinated? James A. Garfield. James A. Garfield was the 20th President of the United States. He was assassinated by a disgruntled office seeker, Charles J. Guiteau, in 1881, just 4 months into his presidency, making him the second U.S. president to be assassinated after Abraham Lincoln. Which English city's name is believed to derive from a man called Snot? Nottingham. The name Nottingham is believed to originate from the Old English, Snottingham, meaning, the homestead of Snot's people. Snot was an Anglo-Saxon chieftain, and his settlement eventually grew into the city known today. Before its relocation to Regent's Park, in which central London building was the London Zoo initially housed? The Tower of London. The Tower of London housed a royal menagerie for centuries, which served as a precursor to the modern zoo. Animals were kept there primarily for royal amusement and display, long before the Zoological Society of London established the London Zoo in Regent's Park in 1828. Blood contains 3 primary types of cellular components: red blood cells, erythrocytes, white blood cells, leukocytes, And what is the third type? Platelets, thrombocytes. Blood is composed of plasma and three main types of blood cells: red blood cells, for oxygen transport, white blood cells, for immunity, and platelets, for blood clotting. Platelets, also known as thrombocytes, are small, irregular-shaped cell fragments crucial for hemostasis, the process that stops bleeding. The kuna was the currency of which European country? Croatia. The Croatian kuna, HRK, was the currency of Croatia from 1994 until January 1, 2023, when Croatia officially adopted the euro as its currency. The name, kuna, means marten in Croatian, referring to the historical use of marten pelts as a form of payment in medieval times. Which city served as the Roman seat of government during their initial occupation of Britain? Colchester, Camulodunum. Colchester, known as Camulodunum by the Romans, was the first capital of Roman Britain following the invasion in AD 43. It was established as a colonia for retired soldiers and served as a significant administrative and military center before being largely destroyed during Boudicca's rebellion in AD 60-61. What does the acronym JIT stand for when applied to production scheduling and inventory management? Just in time. Just in time, JIT, is a production strategy focused on increasing efficiency and decreasing waste by receiving goods only as they are needed in the production process, thereby reducing inventory costs. Originating in Japan, it's a key principle of lean manufacturing. What is the name of the seaport serving Athens, Greece? Piraeus. Piraeus is a major port city in Greece, located within the Athens urban area. It has historically been the principal port of Athens since antiquity, serving as a crucial commercial, passenger, and naval hub for the country and the wider Mediterranean region. Who painted The Surrender at Breda and Las Meninas? Velázquez. Diego Velázquez, 1599–1660, was a leading artist in the court of King Philip IV of Spain and a prominent painter of the Spanish Golden Age. Las Meninas is considered one of the masterpieces of Western painting, renowned for its complex composition, while The Surrender at Breda depicts a significant historical military victory. Which great ship was originally known as the Leviathan when launched in 1858? The Great Eastern. The Great Eastern was an iron sailing steamship designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, launched in 1858. It was the largest ship ever built at the time of its launch and played a crucial role in laying transatlantic telegraph cables, significantly advancing global communication. Of which famous vessel was Miles Standish the captain? Mayflower. Miles Standish was an English military officer hired by the Pilgrims as a military advisor for Plymouth Colony. He served as the military leader on the Mayflower, the ship that transported the first English Puritans, known as the Pilgrims, from England to the New World in 1620. What does TQC mean in the manufacturing industry? Total Quality Control. Total Quality Control, TQC, is a management approach that involves all employees in continuously improving the quality of products and processes. It emphasizes customer satisfaction and aims to eliminate defects and waste throughout the entire production cycle, leading to higher efficiency and better output. In 1630, which architect installed the world's first sash windows in a house in Norfolk? Inigo Jones. Inigo Jones, 1573–1652, was a prominent English architect credited with introducing classical architecture to England. He is notable for his pioneering work in designing buildings with features like sash windows, which became a hallmark of English architectural style. Who painted Supper at Emmaus and The Anatomy Lesson? Rembrandt. Rembrandt Hamonszoon van Rijn, 1606–1669, was a Dutch Golden Age painter, printmaker, and draftsman. He is renowned for his dramatic use of light and shadow, and for his profound emotional depth, as seen in works like The Anatomy Lesson of Dr. Nikolai Stulp and Supper at Emmaus. Whose law states that galaxies are moving apart at a rate that increases with their distance? A telescope was named after him. Hubble. Edwin Hubble, 1889 to 1953, was an American astronomer who played a pivotal role in establishing the fields of extragalactic astronomy and observational cosmology. His namesake Hubble's law describes the expansion of the universe, providing fundamental evidence for the Big Bang theory. The Hubble Space Telescope is named in his honor. Which museum was originally housed in a London mansion called Montague House? British Museum. The British Museum, established in 1753, was the first public national museum in the world. It was originally housed in Montague House in Bloomsbury, London, before the current purpose-built museum building was constructed, reflecting its mission to preserve human history, art, and culture. Which British astronomer, who wrote a science fiction novel called The Black Cloud, is particularly associated with the steady-state theory of the universe? Sir Fred Hoyle. Fred Hoyle was a prominent British astronomer known for his work on stellar nucleosynthesis and his controversial advocacy of the steady-state theory of the universe. He famously coined the term Big Bang, pejoratively, initially as a way to ridicule the opposing theory. What did Sir John Harington design and have installed in his house in 1589? His was the first, certainly in England. A water closet. Sir John Harington, godson of Queen Elizabeth I, is credited with inventing the flush toilet, which he called a water closet, in 1596. He installed one for himself and one for the Queen, marking a significant early step in modern sanitation. Who is the Vice President of the USA? Joe Biden. The Vice President of the USA is the second highest officer in the executive branch of the federal government, succeeding to the presidency upon the death, resignation, or removal of the president. The individual serving as Vice President also acts as the President of the Senate. To which family of instruments does the hi-hat belong? Percussion. The hi-hat is a crucial part of a drum kit, consisting of two cymbals mounted on a stand with a foot pedal, allowing them to be opened or closed. It belongs to the percussion family of instruments, which produce sound by being struck, scraped, or shaken. In which English county are the towns of Grantham and Skegness? Lincolnshire. Lincolnshire is a large county in the East Midlands of England, known for its agricultural landscape and extensive coastline. Grantham is a market town famous as the birthplace of former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, while Skegness is a popular seaside resort. In which English county are the towns of Reading and Maidenhead? Berkshire. Berkshire is a county in southeast England, often referred to as the Royal County of Berkshire, due to the presence of Windsor Castle. Reading is a major commercial and administrative hub, and Maidenhead is another significant town within the county. State the birth and death years of the Italian painter Michelangelo. 1475-1564. Michelangelo di Lodovico Bernardati Simoni, commonly known as Michelangelo, was an Italian sculptor, painter, architect, and poet of the High Renaissance. His impactful works include the Sistine Chapel ceiling, David, and Pietà, solidifying his status as one of history's most influential artists. Even though he only lasted for 3 weeks, who succeeded Adolf Hitler as President of Germany in 1945? Karl Donitz. Grand Admiral Karl Donitz was designated by Adolf Hitler as his successor in his final will and testament, becoming President of Germany for a brief period in May 1945. Donitz oversaw the unconditional surrender of Germany to the Allied forces, marking the end of World War II in Europe. Podagra is an alternative name for which medical condition, usually affecting the big toe? Gout. Gout is a form of inflammatory arthritis caused by an accumulation of uric acid crystals in the joints. Podagra specifically refers to gout affecting the big toe, which is its most common presentation. What were the birth and death years of the renowned Dutch painter Rembrandt van Rijn? 1606–1669. Rembrandt van Rijn was a prominent Dutch Golden Age painter, printmaker, and draftsman, known for his masterful portraits, self-portraits, and biblical scenes. His prolific career from 1606 to 1669 significantly influenced art history. Who succeeded Francisco Franco as Prime Minister of Spain in 1973, serving for only 6 months before his assassination? Luis Carrero Blanco. Luis Carrero Blanco was a key figure in Franco's regime and was appointed Prime Minister of Spain in June 1973. His assassination by the ETA in December 1973 was a pivotal event in Spain's transition to democracy after Franco's death. Which disease, commonly affecting children aged 2 to 12 and causing facial pain, is also known by the alternative name, epidemic parotitis? Mumps. Mumps is a viral infection primarily affecting the salivary glands, particularly the parotid glands, causing characteristic swelling and pain in the face. It is highly contagious and is commonly prevented by the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. Who is the current leader of Plaid Cymru, born in Llynpeir in South Wales in 1971? Leanne Woods. Leanne Wood served as the leader of Plaid Cymru, the Party of Wales, from 2012 to 2018. This position is significant in Welsh politics. The question refers to her period as leader, though Adam Price succeeded her in 2018. Who is the current leader of the Scottish Nationalist Party, born in Linlithgow, West Lothian in 1954? Alex Salmond. Alex Salmond was a prominent leader of the Scottish National Party, SNP, and served as First Minister of Scotland from 2007 to 2014. He was instrumental in the 2014 Scottish independence referendum. As of 2024, Hamza Yusuf is the current leader of the SNP. The word evaporation describes the process of changing a liquid into a gas. Which word describes the process of changing a solid into a gas? Sublimation. Sublimation is a phase transition where a substance changes directly from a solid to a gas without passing through a liquid phase. This phenomenon is observed with substances like dry ice, solid carbon dioxide, and iodine. In which county of Northern Ireland is the Giant's Causeway situated? Antrim. The Giant's Causeway is a UNESCO World Heritage Site located on the north coast of County Antrim in Northern Ireland. It is an area of about 40,000 interlocking basalt columns, formed by an ancient volcanic eruption approximately 50 to 60 million years ago. Along with blue and red, which color appears on the flag of Chad? Yellow. The national flag of Chad consists of a vertical tricolor of blue, a golden yellow, and red. The blue represents the sky, hope, and the Atlantic Ocean, the yellow symbolizes the sun and the desert, and the red stands for progress, unity, and the blood shed for independence. What is added to steel, approximately 11%, to make it stainless and give it properties that prevent it from corroding, rusting, or staining with water? Chromium. Stainless steel is an alloy primarily composed of iron, with a minimum of 10.5% chromium content by mass. The addition of chromium forms a passive layer of chromium oxide on the surface, which protects the steel from corrosion, rusting, and staining, making it highly durable. Along with red and green, what color appears on the flag of Oman? White. The national flag of Oman features three horizontal stripes, white, red, green, and a vertical red stripe on the hoist side, displaying the national emblem. White symbolizes peace and prosperity, red represents the battles fought for independence, and green signifies the fertility of the land. Which year saw the SAS storm the Iranian embassy in London? 1980. The Iranian embassy siege occurred in London in April to May 1980 when armed gunmen took hostages. The siege ended on May 5, 1980, with a dramatic raid by the British Army's Special Air Service, SAS, which rescued almost all the hostages and killed most of the terrorists. Which popular four-word named organization, founded in 1844 in London, has "Empowering Young People" as its main motto and has its headquarters in Geneva? It is normally known by its four initials. Young Men's Christian Association. The Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA, founded in London in 1844, is a worldwide youth organization with a focus on spiritual, mental, and physical development. With its headquarters in Geneva, it is one of the oldest and largest movements dedicated to empowering young people globally. Along with the Cloward, which river burst its banks in November 2012 causing devastation to the town of St. Asaph? The ELWY. In November 2012, the river Elwy, along with the river Cloward, experienced severe flooding in North Wales, particularly affecting the city of St. Asaph. This event caused widespread devastation, highlighting the challenges of river management and flood preparedness in vulnerable areas. On August 16, 1952, which town in North Devon saw much devastation and 35 fatalities after its river burst its banks following a violent storm? Lynmouth. The Lynmouth flood disaster occurred on August 16, 1952, when an exceptionally heavy rainfall caused the East and West Lynn rivers to burst their banks. This catastrophic event resulted in the deaths of 34 people and widespread destruction to the village of Lynmouth in North Devon. Which English writer, born in 1882, committed suicide on March 28, 1941, by walking into the river Ouse and drowning? Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf, 1882–1941, was a highly influential English modernist writer, a pioneer of stream of consciousness narrative. Her works include Mrs. Dalloway, To the Lighthouse, and A Room of One's Own. She tragically died by suicide in 1941, her death being a significant moment in literary history. What was the name of the farm in Buckinghamshire that saw the Great Train Robbers hide out for 5 days after the robbery? LeathersLade. Leatherslade Farm in Buckinghamshire served as the hideout for the perpetrators of the Great Train Robbery in August 1963. After hijacking a Royal Mail train carrying parcels of cash, the gang took refuge there for 5 days before dispersing, leaving behind significant evidence that eventually led to their capture. Alma Reville, who died in 1982, was the wife and collaborator of which famous British character who was knighted in 1980? Alfred Hitchcock. Alma Reville was a talented film editor and screenwriter, famously known as the wife and creative collaborator of the legendary British film director Sir Alfred Hitchcock. Her contributions were crucial to many of Hitchcock's classic films, though often uncredited, making her a vital behind-the-scenes figure in cinematic history. What was the name of Britain's chief executioner, who lived from 1905 to 1992 and was responsible for the executions of at least 400 people, including Derek Bentley, John Hay, and Ruth Ellis? Albert Pierrepoint. Albert Pierrepoint was a renowned British executioner who served for over 2 decades. He became a significant, albeit controversial, figure in British legal history due to the high number of executions he carried out, reflecting a period when capital punishment was still practiced in the UK. Which British executioner, employed by King Charles I, was responsible for the executions of Lord Russell and James Scott, and shares his name with the fictional hangman in the children's entertainment show Punch and Judy? Jack Ketch. Jack Ketch was a notorious English executioner during the 17th century, primarily serving King Charles II, not Charles I. He gained infamy for his perceived incompetence and brutality, particularly during high-profile executions like those of Lord Russell and the Duke of Monmouth. His name became a byword for hangman in popular culture. Which novel, published in 1880, was co-titled A Tale of the Christ? Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ is an epic historical novel by Lew Wallace, published in 1880. It explores themes of betrayal, revenge, and redemption in the Roman Empire during the time of Christ, becoming one of the most successful and influential Christian novels of all time. Which town in Malta contains the replica of a World War II bomb in the roof of its local dome? Mostar. The town of Mostar in Malta is home to the Rotunda of Mostar, known for a miraculous event during World War II. A 200 kilograms German bomb pierced the dome of the church during an air raid but failed to detonate, sparing the lives of hundreds of worshippers inside. A replica of the bomb is now displayed in the church. In which US state can you find the popular Daytona Beach? Florida. Daytona Beach is a well-known city in Florida, USA, famous for its hard-packed sand that allows motor vehicles to drive directly on the beach. It is also renowned as the home of the Daytona International Speedway, making it a major hub for motorsports and a popular tourist destination. In which US state can you find the popular Waikiki Beach? Hawaii. Waikiki Beach is an iconic stretch of coastline located in Honolulu, Hawaii. Celebrated globally for its beautiful white sands, clear blue waters, and historical significance in surfing culture, it is one of the world's most famous beaches and a primary tourist attraction for the island of Oahu. Which science fiction novel of 1957 by John Wyndham tells the story of a mysterious object which appears in a village and then disappears again, leaving all the women of the village pregnant? The Midwich Cuckoos. The Midwich Cuckoos is a classic 1957 science fiction novel by British author John Wyndham. The story delves into themes of alien invasion, societal fear, and ethics when a mysterious incident leaves all the women in a secluded village pregnant with unusual, golden-eyed children. It has been adapted into films like Village of the Damned. The works, The Potato Eaters, 1885, The White Orchard, 1888, and Sheaves of Wheat, 1890, are all attributed to which famous artist? Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh was a Dutch post-impressionist painter whose prolific work profoundly influenced 20th century art. His famous paintings, including The Potato Eaters, The White Orchard, and Sheaves of Wheat, are renowned for their emotional intensity and bold use of color. What is the more common 8-letter name for the human condition known as seborrheic dermatitis? Dandruff. Seborrheic dermatitis is a common, chronic inflammatory skin condition that primarily affects areas rich in sebaceous glands, such as the scalp, face, and chest. Dandruff is a milder, non-inflammatory manifestation of seborrheic dermatitis specifically affecting the scalp, characterized by flaking skin. Which analgesic drug, first isolated in 1804, was named after the Greek god of dreams? Morphine. Morphine is a potent opioid analgesic used for severe pain management. It was first isolated by Friedrich Serturner in 1804 and named after Morpheus, the Greek god of dreams, due to its sleep-inducing and consciousness-altering effects. What is the more common 3-word name for the human condition known as spastic colon? Irritable bowel syndrome. Spastic colon is an older term for irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, a common functional gastrointestinal disorder. IBS is characterized by a group of symptoms including abdominal pain, cramping, bloating, and changes in bowel habits, without any visible damage or disease in the digestive tract. The works, The Blinding of Samson, 1636, Cottages Before a Stormy Sky, 1641, and The Jewish Bride, 1665, are all attributed to which famous artist? Rembrandt. Rembrandt van Rijn was a Dutch Golden Age painter, printmaker, and draftsman, widely considered one of the greatest visual artists in art history. His masterpieces, such as The Blinding of Samson, Cottages Before a Stormy Sky, and The Jewish Bride, are celebrated for their dramatic lighting, emotional depth, and realistic portrayals. Which curry-flavored soup of Anglo-Indian origin, with many recipe variations, takes its name from the Tamil for fire water? Mulligatawny. Mulligatawny is a traditional curry-flavored soup that originated in Anglo-Indian cuisine during the British Raj. Its name is derived from the Tamil words milagu tanna, literally meaning pepper water, highlighting its spicy and often liquid consistency. Which poisonous chemical compound was named after the Greek for blue, having been first identified during the production of the dye, Prussian blue, in the early 18th century? Cyanide. Cyanide, a highly toxic chemical compound, derives its name from the Greek word kyanos, meaning blue. It was first isolated during the creation of the blue pigment Prussian blue in the early 18th century, with hydrogen cyanide gas being first isolated from this dye. Which Hungarian-born inventor, who died in 2003, had the nickname, the father of the hydrogen bomb? Edward Teller. Edward Teller was a Hungarian-born American theoretical physicist widely known as the father of the hydrogen bomb. He made significant contributions to nuclear and molecular physics, spectroscopy, and surface physics. His relentless advocacy for the development of nuclear weapons, particularly the hydrogen bomb, was a defining aspect of the Cold War era. Which five-letter astronomical word is derived from the Greek for long-tailed? Comet. A comet is an icy, small solar system body that, when passing close to the Sun, warms and begins to outgas, displaying a visible atmosphere or coma, and sometimes a tail. The word comet comes from the ancient Greek kometes, meaning long-haired or long-tailed, referring to the tail observed trailing behind these celestial objects. Which six-letter astronomical word is derived from the Greek for milk? Galaxy. A galaxy is a massive system of stars, stellar remnants, interstellar gas, dust, and dark matter, all bound together by gravity. The word galaxy is derived from the Greek galaxies, specifically referring to our own galaxy, the Milky Way, which was perceived as a milky circle in the night sky. Name the year when flash floods badly damaged the Cornish village of Boscastle. A Fathers for Justice campaigner dressed as Batman breached security at Buckingham Palace, and footballer Emlyn Hughes and DJ John Peel sadly died. 2004. The year 2004 witnessed several notable events, including severe flash floods in Boscastle, Cornwall, causing widespread damage. Politically, a Fathers for Justice campaigner gained notoriety for breaching Buckingham Palace security dressed as Batman. The year also marked the passing of prominent public figures like legendary footballer Emlyn Hughes and influential DJ John Peel. About which controversial Irish individual did Margaret Thatcher say in 1981, "Crime is crime, it is not political," shortly before his death? Bobby Sands. Bobby Sands was an Irish Republican paramilitary and hunger striker who died in 1981 during a protest over the British government's refusal to grant political prisoner status to Irish Republican prisoners. Margaret Thatcher, then British Prime Minister, famously stated, "Crime is crime, it is not political," refusing to concede to the prisoners' demands and igniting significant international controversy. Which town in Suffolk is the most easterly point in England? Lowestoft. Lowestoft is a town located on the North Sea coast of Suffolk, England. It holds the geographical distinction of being the most easterly settlement in both England and the United Kingdom. Its strategic coastal location has historically made it an important port and fishing town. In which month of 1941 did the Japanese attack Pearl Harbor? December. The attack on Pearl Harbor by the Imperial Japanese Navy Air Service on December 7, 1941, was a surprise military strike against the United States naval base in Hawaii. This pivotal event led to the United States' formal entry into World War II. In which month of 1945 did the USA drop the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? August. The United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima, August 6, 1945, and Nagasaki, August 9, 1945, during World War II. These devastating attacks led to Japan's unconditional surrender, marking the only use of nuclear weapons in warfare to date. Which British Prime Minister, born in Portsmouth in March 1912, passed away on March 26, 2005, at the age of 92? James Callaghan. James Callaghan served as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1976 to 1979. He is notable for being the only politician to have served in all four of the great offices of state: Chancellor of the Exchequer, Home Secretary, Foreign Secretary, and Prime Minister. Currently known as the Willis Tower and standing 442 meters tall, what was the previous name of this building, opened in 1973 in Chicago? Sears Tower. The Willis Tower, an iconic skyscraper in Chicago, Illinois, was originally named the Sears Tower upon its completion in 1973. For many years, it held the distinction of being the tallest building in the world and remains a significant architectural landmark. Which British Prime Minister, born in Chelsea in February 1894, died on December 29, 1986, aged 92? Harold Macmillan. Harold Macmillan served as the Conservative Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1957 to 1963. His premiership was marked by significant Cold War events and the process of decolonization, for which he famously stated, "The wind of change is blowing through this continent." Standing at 1,792 feet in height and opened in 2013, the building known as One World Trade Center is commonly known by what other name? Freedom Tower. One World Trade Center, often referred to as Freedom Tower, is the principal building of the rebuilt World Trade Center complex in Lower Manhattan, New York City. Its iconic spire reaches a symbolic height of 1,776 feet, referencing the year of the United States Declaration of Independence. Which English author wrote many books in his writing career, including The Ministry of Fear in 1943, The Third Man in 1949 and The Honorary Consul in 1973? Graham Greene. Graham Greene was a prolific English novelist and short story writer, known for his explorations of moral ambiguity and political themes, often within a Catholic context. His diverse body of work, ranging from thrillers to serious literary novels, cemented his reputation as one of the 20th century's most significant authors. Which European country did a military coup, known as the Carnation Revolution, take place in 1974? Portugal. The Carnation Revolution was a military coup on April 25, 1974, that overthrew the authoritarian Estado Novo regime in Portugal, leading to the restoration of democracy. This largely bloodless revolution ended Portugal's colonial empire and established its current democratic system. Which Asian country experienced the conflict known as Black September in 1970 and 1971, sometimes referred to as the era of regrettable events? Jordan. The Black September conflict was a civil war fought in Jordan between the Jordanian Armed Forces and the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO. It took place from 1970 to 1971 and resulted in the expulsion of the PLO leadership and thousands of Palestinian fighters from Jordan to Lebanon. Bamako is the capital city of which country? Mali. Bamako is the capital and largest city of Mali, a landlocked country located in West Africa. Situated on the Niger River, it serves as the administrative, economic, and cultural hub of the nation. With which activity is British Grandmaster Nigel Short, born in 1965, primarily associated? Chess. Nigel Short is a renowned British chess grandmaster, prodigy, and commentator. He achieved the Grandmaster title at the age of 19 and was a finalist in the 1993 World Chess Championship against Garry Kasparov. Adelaide is the capital city of which Australian state? South Australia. Adelaide is the capital city of South Australia, one of Australia's 6 states and 2 major mainland territories. It is known for its elegant architecture, vibrant cultural scene, and the surrounding wine regions. What is the second largest lake in the Lake District, after Windermere? Ullswater. Ullswater is the second largest lake in the English Lake District, a national park renowned for its glacial ribbon lakes and fells. It is a popular destination for tourists and outdoor enthusiasts, offering activities like sailing, kayaking, and hiking. Which years define the lifespan of the poet Geoffrey Chaucer? 1343–1400. Geoffrey Chaucer was an English poet and writer, widely regarded as the greatest English poet of the Middle Ages. He is best known for the Canterbury Tales and is often called the father of English literature. Which motorway connects the cities of Leicester and Coventry? M69. The M69 is a motorway in the English Midlands, connecting the M6 near Coventry to the M1 near Leicester. It is a vital transportation link for regional commerce and commuters in the East Midlands. How did Ethel Jane Kane achieve fame in Great Britain, starting on July 24, 1936, and lasting until 1963? She was the original voice of the speaking clock. Ethel Jane Kane was an operator selected to be the first voice of the British speaking clock, introduced by the General Post Office (GPO) in 1936. This service provided precise time announcements, becoming a significant part of British public life and telecommunications for decades. What was the name of the 56-meter-tall sculpture, designed by Thomas Heatherwick and unveiled in 2005, which featured 180 hollow tapered steel columns radiating from a central core? It was located next to the City of Manchester Stadium before its dismantling. Bee of the Bang. Bee of the Bang was a large sculpture in Manchester, England, designed by Thomas Heatherwick and unveiled in 2005. Its name was inspired by a quote from Linford Christie, suggesting that one should start on the Bee of the Bang. Despite its innovative design, structural issues led to its dismantling in 2009. Which years define the lifespan of the poet and artist William Blake? 1757–1827. William Blake was an English poet, painter, and printmaker. Largely unrecognized during his lifetime, Blake is now considered a seminal figure in the history of both poetry and the visual arts of the Romantic Age. He is best known for his works like Songs of Innocence and of Experience, and The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. How did Peter Jefferson achieve significant recognition through his radio broadcasts, where he regularly condensed approximately 350 words into an 11-minute segment for over 40 years? He was the voice of the shipping forecast. Peter Jefferson was a prominent BBC radio announcer, best known as the voice of the shipping forecast for over 40 years. This iconic broadcast provides vital weather information to ships in British coastal waters and has become a cultural institution in the UK, known for its distinct rhythm and soothing delivery. In which English city is The Shambles located, a historic street known for its overhanging timber-framed buildings, some dating back to the 14th century, and a shrine to Saint Margaret Clitheroe? York. The Shambles is a remarkably preserved medieval street in York, England, famous for its unique overhanging timber-framed buildings, some dating back to the 14th century. It is a significant historical and architectural site, also associated with Saint Margaret Clitheroe, a Catholic martyr. Which Scottish loch is the third largest in Scotland, after Loch Lomond and Loch Ness? Loch Awe. Loch Awe is a major freshwater loch in Argyll and Bute, Scotland, known for its scenic beauty and historical castles. It holds the distinction of being the third largest loch in Scotland by surface area, following the well-known Loch Lomond and Loch Ness. Which famous Brooklyn attraction, formerly a funfair, is believed to have been named after rabbits that populated the area in the 17th century? Coney Island. Coney Island is a renowned peninsular neighborhood and former amusement park area in Brooklyn, New York City, famous for its beaches and entertainment. Its name is historically linked to the Dutch, Konijn Eiland, Rabbit Island, suggesting a significant rabbit population in the 17th century. Which iconic Manhattan attraction is famously known as the Crossroads of the World? Times Square. Times Square is a major commercial intersection, tourist destination, entertainment center, and neighborhood in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. It is globally recognized for its vibrant billboards, Broadway theaters, and is a hub of cultural and economic activity, earning it the moniker, the Crossroads of the World. Raila Odinga served as the Prime Minister of which country? Kenya. Raila Odinga is a prominent Kenyan politician who served as the Prime Minister of Kenya from 2008 to 2013. He has been a central figure in the country's political landscape for decades, known for his activism and multiple presidential campaigns. In the human body, what 7-letter word describes the excessive buildup of phlegm or mucus, typically found in the sinuses or throat? Catarrh. Catarrh is a medical term for inflammation of a mucous membrane, especially in the head or throat, causing an excessive discharge of mucus. It is commonly associated with colds, allergies, or sinus infections. What is the name of the 449-foot-tall sea stack located near Rackwick Bay in the Orkney Islands, described as a red sandstone stack perched on a rock, and first climbed by Chris Bonington and 2 others in 1966? Old Man of Hoy. The Old Man of Hoy is a famous sea stack on the island of Hoy in the Orkney Islands, Scotland. Standing at 449 feet, it is a prominent geological feature formed from red sandstone. It is a popular challenge for rock climbers and a significant landmark. What 6-letter word is used to describe the long whiskers found on some fish of the carp family? Barbels. Barbels are slender, whisker-like sensory organs found near the mouth of some fish, particularly those in the carp family. These chemosensory organs help fish detect food in murky water or on the bottom, playing a crucial role in their foraging behavior. Jean Valjean is the central character of which famous novel, published in 1862? Les Miserables. Les Miserables is an acclaimed French historical novel by Victor Hugo, published in 1862. It chronicles the lives of several characters over a 17-year period in early 19th century France, exploring themes of justice, redemption, love, and sacrifice, with Jean Valjean as its central protagonist. In the Bible, which book of the Old Testament contains the story of David and Goliath? Samuel, 1 Samuel. The iconic story of David and Goliath is found in the first book of Samuel in the Old Testament. This biblical narrative recounts how the young shepherd David bravely defeated the Philistine giant Goliath, symbolizing the triumph of the underdog against overwhelming odds. Which part of the human body is affected by Meniere's disease? Ear. Meniere's disease is a disorder of the inner ear that can lead to dizzy spells, vertigo, and hearing loss. In most cases, Meniere's disease affects only one ear, causing symptoms such as ringing in the ear, tinnitus, and a feeling of fullness in the affected ear. What six-letter word describes a fish's tail fin, located at the end of its body and used for propulsion? Caudal. The caudal fin is the scientific term for a fish's tail fin, which is crucial for propulsion and steering in aquatic environments. It is a key anatomical feature for locomotion in fish species. Where in the human body is the trapezium bone located? Wrist. The trapezium is one of the carpal bones found in the wrist, specifically forming part of the thumb's joint. It plays a critical role in the mobility and dexterity of the thumb. What is the name of the coastal headland located at the southern end of Torbay in Devon, southeast of Brixham, which features a lighthouse built in 1906 and the site of an Iron Age fort? Berry Head. Berry Head is a significant coastal headland in Devon, England, known for its strategic importance evidenced by an Iron Age fort and a lighthouse constructed in 1906. It is also a designated National Nature Reserve, highlighting its ecological value. Who authored the 1955 play, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof? Tennessee Williams. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof is a renowned play by American playwright Tennessee Williams, first performed in 1955. It explores themes of greed, mendacity, and repression within a Southern family, earning Williams a Pulitzer Prize for drama. In which city are the international headquarters of Greenpeace located? Amsterdam. Greenpeace, a leading independent global campaigning organization, has its international headquarters situated in Amsterdam, Netherlands. It focuses on environmental issues such as climate change, deforestation, and nuclear safety. In which city are the headquarters of the International Monetary Fund located? Washington, D.C. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is headquartered in Washington, D.C., USA. It is a major international financial institution, working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty around the world. What is the national currency of Romania? Leu. The national currency of Romania is the leu, plural lei. Its name means lion in Romanian, derived from the Dutch thaler depicting a lion, which circulated in the region during the 17th century. On which island country can Grantley Adams International Airport be found? Barbados. Grantley Adams International Airport, GAIA, is the international airport of Barbados, located in Sewell, Christchurch. It is named after Sir Grantley Herbert Adams, the first Premier of Barbados. Who designed Marble Arch in London? John Nash. Marble Arch was designed by John Nash as the monumental gateway to Buckingham Palace in 1827. It was moved to its current location near Hyde Park in 1851, following the enlargement of Buckingham Palace. Which is England's oldest national park, established on April 17, 1951, with an area of 1,438 square kilometers? Peak District. The Peak District National Park, established on April 17, 1951, holds the distinction of being England's first national park. Covering 1,438 square kilometers, it is a significant area for conservation, outdoor recreation, and protecting diverse landscapes and ecosystems. Which is England's newest national park, established on April 1, 2011, with an area of 1,641 square kilometers? South Downs. The South Downs National Park, covering 1,641 square kilometers, was officially established on April 1, 2011, making it England's newest national park. It encompasses unique chalk landscapes, ancient woodlands, and river valleys, primarily across the counties of Hampshire, West Sussex, and East Sussex, preserving both natural beauty and cultural heritage. Which notorious female criminal, along with her son Fred, was killed in a shootout with federal agents on January 16, 1935, in Oak River, Florida? Ma Baker. Ma Baker, born Arizona Clark, was the matriarch of the Barker-Karpies gang during the Depression era. Her death in a shootout with the FBI in 1935 became a significant event in the history of American law enforcement, symbolizing the end of the Public Enemy era. What was the name of the influential boutique opened by fashion designer Mary Quant on London's King's Road in 1955? Bazaar. Mary Quant's boutique, Bazaar, opened in 1955 on King's Road, London, became a pivotal point in the fashion revolution of the 1960s. It is credited with popularizing the miniskirt and bringing modern, youthful styles to the forefront of fashion. What term is commonly used to describe the main body or head of a jellyfish? Bell. The prominent, umbrella-shaped part of a jellyfish's body is referred to as its bell. This structure enables the jellyfish to move through water by contracting and expelling water, a form of jet propulsion.